Well, a warm welcome to today's word search, which is theme is along the Thames. So looks to be all places sort of that meander along the Thames. So we start off with Abingdon, and Abingdon's famous for its bun throwing ceremony, whatever that is, and it's west of London, just below Oxford, I think, is Abingdon. So see if we can spot this one. As always, I'll let you know just before I'm about to mark it up on the grid, so that you can pause it if you're still looking for it. And this one I spotted fairly straightforward here. Mark this one up on the right hand side, a straight vertical one down. So that's Abingdon. Next on to Barnes. Again, fairly short one. Barnes, that's in the London borough of Richmond upon Thames, if you're familiar with London. And I'll probably look for the R and the N near to each other there. This is not one that's jumping straight out at me. Right, I've spotted this one, so I'll mark this one up on the grid now. There we go. That's Barnes. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and appreciate a like on the video if you do enjoy it. And also interested to hear where people are watching from around the UK or around the world. Do put in the comments where you're watching from. I'm filming this on New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year in anticipation of 2022. Next up is Bourne End. It's in Buckinghamshire. It's near Marlow. So let's see if we can find Bourne End. And this one has jumped straight out. Actually, not an easy one. I'll mark it up on the grid. It's a reverse diagonal. There we go. Bourne End. Then on to Chiswick. So we're still staying out in West London. Chiswick is actually a very affluent area of West London, so some very expensive properties there. And I'm probably going to look for the C and the K near to each of us. So if I look for C and a K, and I've seen this one, I'll mark this one up on the grid now. The C and the K were right at the top of the grid where I started looking, so you can see there it's going up horizontal. The C and the K right at the top there. Next up is Cricklade. Not a place I know. It's actually in North Wiltshire. Is Cricklade, from what I can understand. So again, I'm probably going to look for the C and the K. See if I can see a C and a K together and see if it will get it to work on the grid there. So I'll just have a few seconds trying to find that one. Okay, yeah, we've got that one, so I'll mark that one up on the grid if anybody wants to pause it. That's Cricklade. Come in there on the diagonal down. And then next up onto Erith. Erith is actually in southeast London, or southeast of London. It's actually in the county of Kent, and it's famous for having the longest pier in Greater London. Again, not a place I've been to, so I've not visited it. So looking for Erith, and this one jumps straight out at me. And it's sort of mark this one up on the grid now. There we go, Erith. Next up is on to Goring. It's west of London. I think Goring's actually near Reading. So I'll see if we can find Goring. I've been looking for the G and the O on this one. And I've started off looking at the top of the grid, and I've spotted it straight away. So I'll mark this one up now. Anybody wants to pause? There we go, Goring. So that's the first line done. We'll move on to Hammersmith. I think we'll have a change of colour. We'll go on to sort of the bluey green. Hammersmith next. Hammersmith, that's sort of central London really is Hammersmith. Again, don't know too much about Hammersmith, not a place I frequent much. Let's see if we can find this on the grid. Probably looking for the double M here on this one. It's not proving easy to see, this one. Right, okay, yes, I've got this one. It's quite a difficult one. It's mark it up on the grid. It's a reverse diagonal coming right down from there and right up to the top. That's Hammersmith. Next on to Maidenhead, market town in Berkshire. It's not far from Windsor. I may have this wrong, but I think Theresa May is the local MP for Maidenhead. I have been a couple of times, but I can't say anything I remember too much about it, apart from I did do a short walk on the Thames, not too far from there, but probably not actually in Maidenhead. And this one has jumped straight out at me. I'll mark this one up. It's right at the bottom, nicely going from left to right, horizontally. They always tend to be a little bit easier to find. Right, next up is Marlow. Marlow's a town in Buckinghamshire, I believe, again near Maidenhead. And don't really know too much about Marlow. I don't think it's famous for too much, but apologies if you are from Marlow. No doubt you'll put me right in the comments. And probably looking for the O and the W next to each other on this one. So I've not found this one yet. Right. Yes, I've got this one now, so I'll mark this one up on the grid. Anybody wants to pause it if they're still looking for this one. So that's Marlow. Then next on to Newbridge. Again, not a place I've been to. It's not too far from Oxford. Part of the world I haven't really spent too much in, but Oxford is a place I want to go and visit, but never actually been. So we're looking for Newbridge. Probably look for the W and the B next to each other on this one to try and make it a little bit easier. And see if we can find this one. Right, okay, yes, got Newbridge. It's coming down. It's a vertical one coming down from the top there. Newbridge. Then next on to Oxford, a place we've probably all heard of, the famous university town. The two obviously big university towns in the UK are Oxford and Cambridge. So we're looking for Oxford. Probably look for the X and the F near to each other on this one. And yeah, here we go. It's come out. I'll mark this one up on the grid now. So that's Oxford there. And then we're next on to Reading. And again, I don't really know what Reading is famous for. It's west of London, sort of on the M4 corridor. But I don't recall ever being to Reading. I don't recall it ever being famous for anything. But again, please do put me right in the comments if you know something I don't. So we're looking for Reading. This one's not jumping out at me. Probably looking for the N and the G next to each other. Probably. I thought I'd got it on the top line, but it doesn't work the rest of it. Right, okay. Yes, I've spotted it. It's not an easy one. I'll mark this one up now. It's a reverse horizontal here at the bottom. Reading. Then next on to Runnymede, which I believe is in Surrey, and it's home to some very expensive housing. I think the county of Surrey is generally very expensive on housing. So Runnymede, probably looking for a couple of N's next to each other. Double NY is probably an easy one to spot. And some people like to work through line by line from the top, some like to do side to side, some people like to do from bottom to top. I tend to mix it up a little bit to see if I can find them. So let's just see if we can spot Runnymede. And yes, I've got that one now. Again, not an easy one. I'll mark this up, a reverse diagonal. There we go, Runnymede. So mark that one up. So that's the end of the second list. On to the third one now. And we're on to a place called Shadwell, which is in East London. It's in the London Borough of Tower Hamlets. So it's probably one of the poorer areas, or certainly Tower Hamlets is. Although in amongst most boroughs of London there's some very expensive property. So we're looking for Shadwell. It's near to Wapping. This one's jumped straight out at me, so I'll mark this one up on the grid. Here we go. Shadwell there. Right, and next on to Shepperton, which is a large village approximately 15 miles southwest of London. And again, another place I've not been to. Probably looking for the double P on this one. See if something jumps out at us on a double P, and yes, it has straight away for me on that. So I'll mark that one up on the grid now. That's Shepperton there. Then next up is Streetleg. Streetleg is a village in Berkshire near to Goring, which was one of the places we marked off on the yellow list. So we're looking for Streetleg. Probably look for the T and the R near to each other on this one. This one nicely found here. I'll put this one on the grid now. This one was the T and the R right on the top 2 or 3 lines, so that was quite easy to find on that one. Streetleg. Then moving on to Teddington, which is, I think it's in southwest London. It's in the borough of Richmond upon Thames, so fairly close to central London. And that Teddington, we're probably looking for maybe the double D on this one. See if we can spot this. See a double D anywhere. Right, yes, I've got this one, so I'll mark this one up on the grid now. It's at the bottom, it's a reverse horizontal. Teddington, there we go. And then moving on to Wapping, so we're back into East London, just sort of east of the city of London. What's unusual about Wapping is it's got its very own postcode area of E1W, which covers the entire area of Wapping. Very nice docks there, St Catherine Docks, which if you're in the area is worth a visit, and seeing some of the nice boats coming in and out of Wapping Docks. So probably look for the double P on this one, Wapping. See if we can see that one. It always gets a little bit harder now we've got lots marked up on the grid. So again, I'm looking for the double P. Okay, yes, we've got this one, so mark this one up on the grid. This one is a diagonal coming down here. Then we're next up to Whitchurch, or I think it's referring to Whitchurch on Thames, which I think is out in Oxfordshire near Reading. Again, not a place I know too much about. So we're looking for Whitchurch. Probably look for the C and the H. There's 2 CHs in Whitchurch, so probably look for the CH, and I'm pretty much sure we won't be too far away from it. And it's come straight out as this one because there's a CH. I'll mark this one up on the grid. There's a CH there. Look right up on the top 2 lines, and that's coming down, and that's Whitchurch. And then we're on to our last one, which is Windsor. West of London, famous for obviously Windsor Castle, where the Queen is resident a fair bit of her time. Beautiful place if you ever get to go to Windsor, and a lovely place on the river there, and obviously to have a look round Windsor Castle. So let's see if we can find Windsor. And yeah, this one's come straight out at me. Here it is. I actually spotted this one earlier and then I couldn't find it when I wanted to. Windsor, right on the bottom. So there we go. That completes the word search game for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see further word search games and other number and word games. Appreciate if you liked it to pop a like on the video, and don't forget to let me know in the comments what part of the world you're watching from. Thanks again for watching.